Right. We are busy doing module 4, interviewing. Page 92, the methods or types of interview. They can ask you a question like that. Always remember this book, they put the headings on the bottom of the previous page, and then you don't get the question with the answers. So make sure you go back and look what's the heading for these things. So on the right hand side, they start with all the types of interviews or methods of interviews. That's what they can ask in the question. So face to face, the first one. Face to face is always the best one. For any type of communication, because you can see the person, you get all the non-verbal cues, the body language, the facial expressions, and you get the immediate feedback and everything. That's the best in the face-to-face. Then you can have telephone interview. That is usually a screening interview. That's what they say. We will later go to screening. If there's too many applicants, they must talk to them and see which ones sound the best so that they can go on with them. They can't do so many. So it's mostly a screening interview. But with the telephone, you miss some of the cues, okay? But you can still call, you can still talk to someone. It doesn't have to come in. Number 3, a video conference or a Skype. Today it's like WhatsApp video call. That is the one people use the most. You have it already on your phone. You don't have to install Skype or Zoom and now learn to work with it and then have the interview. It adds extra stress. I think today people will just go for WhatsApp because it's the easiest. Number 4, a taped interview. Now, how will you understand the word tape? Do you still have old cassette tapes with music on it? Especially older cars, you can put the cassette tape in and listen to music. Do you know that? Have you seen that? Yeah. But I'm sure you haven't seen people recording new things on it. Now you just have it with the music that's on it, as it was bought or previous people recorded it. Because we don't have the recorders anymore. That's a device where you have to press record and tape and play together, and then you record on it. So on this, that's called a tape. And the verb that we made for recording on them was tape. We say, I tape the music on it. But now we don't tape anything anymore. We record. So, just to help you to understand the word tape. So, a recorded interview. In a recorded interview, they will give you the questions. You have time to think about it and prepare them, and then you press the button and you record your answer. And so they know you had time to prepare. They will listen differently. They listen for you knowing what you're talking about, and also listen to how you speak, all the paralinguistic things about voice and speed, and how you structure your answers. Do you talk logically? Are you starting with the beginning and then building it up, or are you talking about that and then this? And so now you have time to prepare it properly. Okay, group interview. This is where a group or more, 2 or more candidates are interviewed together. You and other candidates are sitting there, and maybe 1 or 2 or more interviewers. So you will be judged on your answers and how you interact and you handle yourself with peers in a stressful situation. So I think that can be quite stressful. Number 6, the panel interview. Then you are alone, the interviewee, but there might be a few interviewers, a panel of them. And they might everyone ask you another question, or only one is talking for the rest, and he's kind of the chairman of the meeting, and he will ask you all the questions. But when you answer, you must look at all of them. When you come in and you greet, you must look at all of them. Greet them all. Make sure you make eye contact with all of them. Okay, then psychometric assessments. It's also a type of interview. Maybe they can send it to you before you come in for the interview. They say, go click on this link and answer the questions there and submit this to us. So that is to see what type of a person you are, your personality and your skills, your strong points, your weak points. Those type of things doesn't have a right or wrong answer. You just answer always, seldom, never, kind of those type of answers. Then, number 8, a portfolio interview. I think maybe artists have to do portfolio interviews. You all thought that we are in that class. Every day it changes. We don't know. We just go on. Just go on. A portfolio interview is where a person will have to say how his career progressed so far, and maybe show some achievements that he achieved and some examples of their work and so on. Portfolio can be in a ring binder, on physical paper, in a file, or else on a computer and be shown on a screen. More students. Where were you guys? Eish, man. And sit. Come sit down. Right. Then they talk about 2 types of interviews. So these are 11 types of interviews. So just this one, they talk about a structured or an unstructured interview. The job interview, as we have a proper job interview, is structured. It's formal. They have the questions beforehand. They don't ask different questions. They ask the same questions to all the candidates. And the interviewer records the answers on a standard grid. He has like a table printed out, and he will mark out here. I like what this person said. He's not strong on that. Kind of how he found it. Make some extra notes. Switch off this computer screens, please. Switch off the screens. You are from another class, you are not in my class, and you need to do work on the computer. Okay, go on. I just thought you are my students. Is there also one? So, a structured interview is a formal interview. Questions are prepared and asked in the same order, and all the interviewees get the same questions. He makes notes, and later on he will look back on his notes and decide which are the best. And then an unstructured interview is more like an informal, it's more like a conversation. He'll ask you, maybe he has his key questions that he wants to ask you, but depending on what you answer, he might ask now new questions, and so on. It becomes more like a conversation. So in the end, all the interviewees do not end up getting the same questions. Answering a different set of questions. Okay, that's the structured and the unstructured interview. Then case interviews are it's like more like a brainstorming thing. You want to solve a specific problem, then you have this case interview. For example, they say, how should our company go about expanding its operations into the rural areas? So maybe it's a supermarket. Now they think, why don't we also have a supermarket in that remote town? And you have different people sit there, people about financial side, people talking about the social side, people talking about legal matters or whatever you need. More like a brainstorming session. It's called a case interview. They have interviews to figure out these things. And then the 11th one they have here, screening. They say not for exam purposes, but they did say right now when we talked about the telephonic interview is for screening purposes. So just to explain what screening means is they get too many applications, and now they have to screen them. They have to sift through them and see which are the best. Now, and who should, with which of these people should we go further for more interviews? They can call you, they can have you in person for an interview, and then decide if they will call you again. And also they can go on your your social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to see how you are, what kind of things you do, and what kind of comments you usually make on other people's posts, and so they will see what kind of a person you are. Right. Now the next one, page 96, they talk about two types of interviews, employment interviews. So you can get a general purpose interview, more to gather information on a particular subject, and the other one, the specific purpose one, will be for a specific purpose, like an employment interview. So that's enough to know about that. Now, the next thing will be about the roles and responsibilities of the interviewer and interviewee. Those 4 questions I said that they are trying to confuse you with, and they will ask 2 of the 4. So I already recorded the lesson on that, so I'm going to stop here now.